telling where Pillar Chase 2 monsters come from and what they're based off of. Part 1. Okay, maybe not a part 1, but if I do make a part 1, then basically I won't make a part 2 because I barely have any motivation. Summer's just around the corner, so maybe around summer, and I could try and do a part 2 during the summer. It's just that I'm doing school. Well, let's just get into the video. Enough yapping about school. Niloticus Gold skin. Now listen, I wasn't gonna do skins, but I wanted to because Niloticus is like my favorite monster to play as in Pillar Chase 2. So I want to do his skins. Let's get into the information. Niloticus turns into a direct reference to Godzilla's design from Godzilla -1, but wears a black bow tie in reference to the Golden Godzilla figure that the movie's director Takashi Yamazaki carried with him during the 96th Academy Award. This is unlocked when a player reaches gold in the levels tab with Niloticus. Now the diamond skin for Niloticus. Niloticus turns into a completely bright blue color with extra details like dark spots over the body, extra elbow spikes, and thagomizers, and bigger back spikes. This is unlocked when a player reaches diamond in the levels tab with Niloticus. This skin is reference to Godzilla's appearance in the 1980 video game Godzilla Monsters of Monsters. Niloticus Deity. Niloticus turns into a completely dark green color like the Phileas skin, with branches on his arms and back, leaves along with his tail, and vines hanging off him. His body has gotten bulkier, his dorsal plates and head have changed shape, and his lower jaw sports a few spikes that look like a beard. This skin is direct reference to Godzilla Earth from the 2017-2018 Godzilla anime trilogy. This skin makes Niloticus vastly increase in size. Trivia time. This is the first skin in the game to completely change the size of the monster's base model. This doesn't count for other skins with larger appearance like John Fogborn or Pelleter Whist, who only have parts that make them look bigger, or ones like Classic Ioni and NDS MX, who have different proportions due to a different model. This skin gains its own chase theme. This is one of the few skins to not be recolorable. Evolved Niloticus. Niloticus turns to the same coloration as the Gar skin and shares the features of the skins though. Now it is much spikier, and his dorsal plates and details have turned into an exact reference to the evolved Godzilla design featured in Godzilla X Kong: The New Empire 2024. In addition to this, new Niloticus now has extra particles for his abilities, making him appear like evolved Godzilla supercharged state from the near and end of the movie. Now this is Niloticus, his normal, basic model. Not to be confused with Sumations, a similar Godzilla-inspired monster. A monster made under a nuclear power plant with extremely dangerous radioactive capabilities broke free from its facility and now roams the planet, cleansing the world of human life. Niloticus is a smaller kaiju who heavily resembles his main inspiration, the king of the monsters, Godzilla. He has red glowing eyes with scratch marks underneath them, adjacent to tears, and prominent eyebrows ridges above each eye. It has a build reminiscent to that of a smaller dinosaur, with light gray scaly skin and much darker colored and sharpened dorsal plates erupting from its spine and tail. Niloticus also possesses a large elbow spikes erupting from its very thin elbow, and he has 5-fingered hands, hailing from his human DNA. He also sports a maw of small but pointed teeth, 3-toed feet, and a long whip-like tail. Niloticus is also an elongated lizard-like experiment that escaped the lab it was made in, being labeled as G07A. He is an original monster based off of Godzilla, intentionally, or whatever, teased on May 20th, 2024, and officially released on July 19th, 2024. He is introduced as the 12th monster in Pillar Chase. after Whist and can be currently bought for 1,405 coins in the shop. Previously, it was supposed to be 1954 to reference, Godzilla's first release date, which was the first Godzilla movie, before the Black Friday's event conclusion. While his overall personality is an unknown, Niloticus is an indifferent monster that despises humans more than anything else, with his goal of cleansing human life stemming from his ever growing hatred to humans. Gameplay. Niloticus has 28 sprint speed, 40 stamina, and 20 damage. Niloticus may struggle catching players if his stamina is poorly managed. Strategic placement of irradiant mist to lock down parts of the map is essential, or whatever you pronounce it, incenta, blah blah blah. He plays like a rushdown, having high speed to stay on top of players and deal small bursts of damage like Rosemary, like also aiming for coral them into irradiated mist for a quick kill. Now, let's look at the book of Niloticus. Now, you see those 4 stars there? I'll give it a 5. Niloticus, also known as G07A, is a man-made creature that was developed under a nuclear power plant. It has incredibly dangerous radioactive abilities in which it can utilize to kill anything in its way. It uses these abilities to hunt down every single human it can find and intend to irradiate humanity from the face of the earth. Niloticus is nearly indestructible, having a highly durable scales and an indestructible skeleton. It cannot be killed by human weapons and has yet to be stopped and still roams around the planet, cleansing the world of human life.
Niloticus can live to about 110 years old, is considered fully grown, and elder at the age of 60. Niloticus is capable of killing the population of a continent before finally dying of old age.
Niloticus can get along with species of animal that are part of his genetic makeup, with the exception being humans. Niloticus's hatred grows further as he ages, since he starts to better think about how humanity treated him in the lab. Baby Niloticus, the 1-year-old one in-game, is a lot more painful with the way he kills his victims, since he is less developed and has snappier, frantic attacks, instead of being more planned out and lethal like his adult self. Human DNA is the reason for his high intelligence and 5 fingers with great flexibility. Fossil is a canon skin, and is said to be a potential curse in which Niloticus gains eternal life in a fossil with no means to grow or mature further, and he is stuck as he is if fossilization after his premature death is successful. Niloticus's skeleton is indestructible, and his soul keeps it together. Niloticus is stronger in his skeletal paie fossil state, as he is overflowing with radiation at all times, being the reason for his soul glowing so bright. Not to be confused with Niloticus, a similar Godzilla-inspired monster. Suitmation's appearance is reminiscent of Godzilla, specifically the Gyakushugoji design from Godzilla Raids Again, but is distorted and misshapen. It has a disproportionately long neck, laden with porous holes that contain eyes, and a long mouth that extends down the length of its neck, lined with sharp teeth and made to resemble a zipper. Godzilla's dorsal plates are replaced with jagged branches that jut out of its lower body. It has small arms and thick, stumpy legs, ended with a lumpy tail extending from its back. Suitmation's name and appearance is a play on the technique of the same name used mainly for older Godzilla movies that utilizes suit acting. Suitmation is a form of tokusatsu, a Japanese term for live-action films or television programs that make heavy use of practical special effects. Suitmations was temporarily scrapped when Toho, the owners of Godzilla, struck down most games that used any form of Godzilla content in them. However, it later became unscrapped again with an original design. This would technically make Suitmations the very first monster in Pillar Chase 2 to be unscrapped. Suitmations had a quote inside the TV saying, "This screen will not contain me forever." This shows that the reason why Suitmations is not in the game yet is because he is trapped inside the TV screen in the lobby. In the recent Christmas update, he appears in the background of the TV, which is to imply that he is breaking free from the screen.
The intro to his Friday Night Funkin' song, First Instance, is one of the songs that can be played on the radio in the lobby. Suitmations appeared in the game in the original lobby outside of the lake's boundaries. He was removed from the original lobby's lake after the Toho copyright strikes had occurred and remains absent. Suitmations is one of 3 monsters to come from an analog horror series, with the other 2 being Vita Mimic and the Host of Influence, who both come from Vita Carnis. Suitmations is the first monster to have their own teaser video on the Blade Ninjas channel. Suitmations will be the tallest monster in game once added. Suitmations will be the first monster to have set maps, this being roofless maps. This is due to his extreme height and not fitting in maps with roofs. This was also going to be the case for Siren Head prior to his cancellation. Suitmations, along with the Stricken's tank form, are 2 of the tallest monsters in the game. However, Suitmations is much taller than the Stricken's tank form, since the tank form was able to fit into the maps with roofs like T-Jock, the Warden Hide and Seek. Suitmations is one of 8 upcoming monsters that has had or is going to have a remodel, with the other 7 being the Dog, Gorefield Slenderman, Servant Grunt, the Lamb, the Clockwork Keeper, and Shadowborn. The Phantovinator is an upcoming original monster in Pillar Chase 2. It appears to be a ghostly raptor-like skeleton, seemingly reanimated from the dead. The Phantovinator appears as a bipedal dinosaur with the general body structure of a dromaeosaur, specifically Utahraptor, confirmed by Gojidev. But it has completely translucent skin, revealing a black skeleton underneath, possibly implying its reanimation. It has long black feathers sticking out of its arms and tail, and has small tufts of feathers on the back of its head and on its upper back shoulders. It has glowing purple eyes, and its skin has a purple hue as well. The Phantovinator is made and modeled by Gojidev. Phantovinator's name is Latin for phantom hunter. Phanto comes from phantom, and venator means hunter in Latin examples. Neovinator, new hunter. Ichthyovinator, fish hunter. Scorpiovinator, scorpion hunter. Australovinator, southern hunter. This makes Phantovinator the 4th monster with a confirmed genus name, the first being Niloticus, the second being Vita Mimic, and the third being the Host of Influence. Phantovinator is based on Utahraptor, according to Gojidev. In its first teaser, it was described as extinct but not gone. Phantovinator is the 3rd monster that is a reptile, the others being Niloticus and Suitmations. On Phantovinator's concept art, there is a Tyrannosaurus Rex, seemingly reanimated in a similar fashion as Phantovinator, labeled Tyrant. What this is supposed to be is unknown.